I'm done.
I start the recording, and that was the perfect timing for that. So, I believe we are up to episode 17.
Wow, that's going quick.
It has been. You have been up to quite a lot in Port Marley, and finally have departed on your first journey as privateers. Not too long out of port, couple of days, you've come across a derelict vessel sailing aimlessly, apparently, with no crew within sight. You came close, investigated, and then boarded to find out what was going on with it. After a little bit of exploration, you found the master bedroom of the ship, which appears to have been a private vessel, and found documents indicating that it had belonged to a ambassador that was being posted to one of the ports belonging to the Southern Kingdoms. From what you could find, it seemed like there was somewhere between 8 and 10 people aboard, and that not a single one of them was in sight, but there was also no signs of combat or struggle. You investigated room after room until you realized that you could feel the engines still running, and with no crew to run them, you had decided to investigate what appeared to be the engine room. And that is where you found the crew, or what's left of them. In weird geometric patterns, the body parts and limbs had been effectively plastered up the wall over the engine itself, which was glowing in a strange ambient light. You didn't have too long to stare at this monstrosity before every single eye in the various heads opened at once, and they screamed at you. You can all roll a perception if you so choose. But as... No, the eyes didn't scream. It's not that kind of monster. However, as each of the heads screams at you, Alara's eyes are widening in horror, and she is looking back towards the door and shouting, "Run!" Right here. Add your seeing if you've got it, by the way. If you've got seeing, you get to add your +2. In the meantime, with those rolls, you notice that there is a mixture of elves and humans amongst the bodies. A couple of female and males. You can't tell who is who, but pretty much all of them seem to be adults. But a quick head count proves that at least 2 of them, based on what you guessed were the number of people that should have been on the ship, are missing.
Oh, wait, do we know this ship?
None of you have been on this ship before. I believe one of you had worked out roughly where it was from based on stories. And it seems like it was purchased from one of the Southern Kingdoms and is a private ship.
Okay, I'm not sure Mug can estimate stuff like how big it should be. But yeah, I only got a 12.
That's all right.
This is mostly for seeing the monster on the wall, right?
Yep, basically just to identify what it's made up of. In the meantime,
So these are monsters on the wall, or
It-
sorry.
it's made up of body parts from that appear to have come from roughly 8 separate people.
Okay.
As Alara starts
Fair
screaming
enough.
for you to run, and the rest of you are staring at it in horror, the entire ship lurches
Yeah.
and
What? Why
shake.
should we run? We should fight it. Right.
Alara's clinging to the doorframe and staring at you in a horror mug.
I never seen something as tough as that. I want to fight it.
Okay, good luck. And with that, Silas starts running.
With another massive shake, you're all dropped to your knees, and the body parts start to fall off the wall.
Oi, bad.
Charming.
And as they do, they start rolling together.
Oh no.
Oh,
What I'm gonna do is
that magic.
I'm quickly gonna run away.
Alara is now just screaming at you. We gotta go now.
But that's magic. Have you seen magic before?
From the hallway, you hear Alara going, I can cast it, and that's worse than I've ever seen.
Oh, you can make magic like that. And Mug is like following, but also looking back at the magic thing.
Mug, as you look over your shoulder, you see that it's starting to take a shape that looks like a mad mess of limbs and bulbous body parts. It looks like a weird humanoid body part spider.
Oh, I've never seen anything like that before. Can I fight it? Or will it fall apart?
It
Mug, it will probably fall
screams
apart
in your
eventually.
direction and lurches towards the door.
Towards me, or?
The door.
The door to, well, basically, if you haven't moved, it's going to come running at you.
Okay. And Mug is now trying to move out of the way. I think Mug is just confused about how it works. If it can like fall apart and then form back in. Like he's scared of the fact that he doesn't understand it.
Rotio, I'll go off everyone's perceptions again. Whisp and Mug.
Okay, perception.
That's right.
Not dexterity.
Actually, yeah, perception, hearing from everyone.
Okay. Oh my God! Why was I not in a fight? Fuck.
Did you triple
Fuck
6?
me. Yes.
Oh,
Fuck me. Fuck me.
This is going to be interesting.
I should have attacked it instead. Fuck me. This is my first triple 6 as well. And it's
Rightio.
bloody perception. Sorry.
You did, however, notice that you can now count the termites.
Oh. She's also the only one that actually hears this.
Oh,
He.
Yeah.
Mug is a he.
Yeah, sorry, Mug is the only one that hears this. A very, very faint voice that seems to be coming from very, very far away says, I will try to trap it. And then you were bodily thrown from the room and the door slams shut. So, Wisp and Silas, all you see is Mug thrown backwards out of the room with great force.
Wisp, did you see how strong that thing is to throw Mug that far? Maybe we should follow Alara's advice and just get back to the ship now.
Merrisea?
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, what did I miss?
That's all right.
My parents.
Um,
turn.
So basically, you're the only one that heard a very, very faint,
Yes.
almost
Yeah.
childlike voice saying, "I'll try to hold it back." And then you were bodily
Ooh.
hurled from the room, and the door was slammed shut in this creature's face.
Ooh. Okay. So
And-
I think Mug is confused.
So
in res-
the others only saw you get thrown from the room. They didn't hear anything.
And in response to that, I just immediately said to Wisp, did you see how strong that monster is to throw that mug so far? Let's just run. And then Wisp replied,
Merrisea, so.
Oh, but Mug was not thrown by the monster, as far as Mug knows, right?
Yeah, Mug knows that the monster hadn't even got near him yet.
we don't know
Yeah,
that
okay.
because we were out
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
room by
fair
that
enough.
point.
I know.
Mug has no idea what threw him out of the room.
Okay, so I think Mug is shouting at the door, like, "Hey, who are you? Why did you throw me? Why are you trying to protect us?"
The door just starts thumping and slamming as the creature tries to batter its way through.
Oh dear.
But for a wooden door, it seems to be holding up really well.
That door is probably magical. The door protected me. Magic door, amazing. So I guess we should get out now.
Yeah.
Alara, can doors be magical? I think that door protected me.
From up near the staircase that goes up to the hatch, Alara is looking at you in sheer confusion, going, "There are magic doors and there is death, and there is only death on the other side of that door. Run."
Fine. I don't know what's the hurry for. Okay, fine. So now Mug is finally willing to run as well. Since that magic door heroically sacrificed itself to protect him.
I can't wait to see Mug's religion by the end of this game. That said, who's first up on deck?
I guess that depends on dexterity.
Not a bad shout.
Because I believe that Wisp and me are racing for this.
And based on that, which of you is faster?
I have a movement of 11.
Oh.
Wisp, what's your move speed?
16?
Yeah, that
I feel like I'm not winning that race.
No, not by a long shot. You are running at full speed, and you have never run this far in your life, and Wisp just Usain Bolts past you.
Wisp gave me a head start and still Roadrunner going beep beep.
Is
Can I give her one of those death stares from Vicky?
Oh yeah, I think Mug is the last one out. Still wondering about the magic door.
as you all get up on deck, you suddenly realize what the giant lurch was. The
The
ship
Kraken.
has actually ripped itself clear of the Cirrus and is starting to sail away from it. The Cirrus is, however, trying to give chase.
I just love that gift. Sorry, I can't stop laughing at that gift. I'm really imagining their faces.
Score!
It is a beautiful gif.
Yay, I did a funny.
Alara is at the side of the ship, staring in horror as there is a couple of 100 meters between the Cirrus and the ship you're standing on.
Okay, guys, let's go and swim back. Chop chop.
Mug, have you looked over the side?
Oh, not yet. I will look over the side now. Is there anything funny there in the water?
Yes, there's a distinct lack of water here, like a kilometer or two up in the air.
What?
Airship.
Oh, I forgot. Then let's drop into the water. Like that's not going to hurt, right?
Is there any water below us?
There is a lot of sand.
Whoa, wait. Were we on airships long? I thought we were actually pirating.
We're
water.
airship pilots.
No, I didn't realize that. This is my first. Okay, this is Mug's first time.
Well done, Mug.
This is my first time I realized that we are not sea pirates. I don't. But Mug is not a clever person.
Yeah, well, we can just blame it on Mug.
Yeah, Mug never realized.
Mug is now staring off into the void, trying to work out how Mug is both on a ship, but not on water.
I'm just gonna tap Mug on the shoulder. Point to the giant balloon that's keeping the ship in the air.
Oh. Let's burst the balloon then.
That could work, but only if we're not on the ship, because if it goes down, we have no way of jumping back to the Cirrus.
Oh.
Ooh, I have another plan though. Do they have cannons here?
Looking around, you realize that unfortunately the cannons have been removed. As per
Who
your
stole
orders.
My cannon? Oh yeah, shit. I stole my cannon.
Oh, I know. We could just blow up the whole ship. That will kill the monster.
Yes, but can you fly so that we can hold on to you?
Huh?
If the ship explodes, how are we gonna fly back to the Cirrus?
Oh, I didn't think of.
We can try something. Could you do something for me, Mug?
Yes, I can. I can
You
do
are
it.
very strong. You are very strong. Could you flap your arms for me to try and fly?
Yes, yes. Okay, Mug is trying to fly.
Silas is taking this moment to just bask in the glory that is Mug trying to fly by flapping his wings. And just like going, at least we have some distraction before we die.
Silas, you feel extremely proud. And just as you're enjoying the show, you hear a thunderous crash behind you.
Guys, this is a bad moment maybe, but I think that not so friendly, maybe friendly monster is showing up. Maybe we should try and ask him how he's doing.
So the magic door didn't protect us.
Shit, if even that wasn't strong enough, what will be strong enough?
Oh, I know. I'm strong enough. I can fight it.
Could you boop the snoot?
Oh, I know. I have a clever plan. We can push it off the airship.
As I get you to roll initiative, I'll also get you to all roll a hearing again.
Which one first? Initiative?
Roll initiative first, and I'll describe what
Okay.
happens there. And then
I'll roll an initiative.
You get a free roll for the hearing. So it doesn't count as an action.
Plus dexterity is initiative, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then for the hearing, I hear so well.
Did you roll?
I nearly rolled a trips one.
Wow, that was close. At least it's not a roll, that's close. Oh. Oh my god, my hearing again.
Interesting.
Rightio. So, Wisp, was that 21 initiative?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Fuck.
Mm.
So what did we learn today? Don't mess with Wisp because Wisp is fucking quick. Wisp got in circles around me and punched me all the time, and I have no clue where it's coming from.
Oh, Mama is hearing best again.
Right, yeah, let me roll.
To be fair, I think Mug is dumb enough not to be distracted by the monster.
Oh yeah. Mug is excited for the fight.
Yeah, and obviously Mug thrives in a fight, so that's where Mug will be best. Most alert, most, well, you know, that kind of stuff.
Let me pop that there. And then next one. And your oh bloody hell.
I feel like I've captured the essence quite well of this monster by describing it as a demon-like shambling mound of corpse spider.
Yeah. I think that works.
Can it die?
I'm just watching the video now.
We'll find out, Wisp.
Rightio. So, based on that, Wisp gets to go first.
Oh, I would like to pet this creature.
Edric goes second.
Oh.
A half second later, Alara gets to go. And then Mug.
Boop it.
Yup, boop it, Snoot.
And because Mug is still too busy staring off into the void trying to do extreme maths from his point of view.
Oh yeah.
The creature actually gets to just sneak in ahead of Mug.
Oh. But what did Mug hear?
Rightio. So, ooh, you did get that. So the hearing was 15, 11, and 4. Okay, once again, Mug is the only person that hears this.
We'll just say that Mug is going crazy as a defense for us not hearing it.
Yeah, because everyone will be like, "Oh, you were just imagining it," and Mug was like, "But I heard it."
Yup.
Voices
So-
in his head.
Mug, you had suggested that you were going to push it off the side of the ship.
Oh yeah. I did.
Once again, the very soft, faraway voice that sounds almost like a little girl says,
Oh.
"Do it. It's the only way."
Yes. Mug actually had a clever idea.
Yeah, but no one's gonna believe him.
It's okay.
And with that,
Okay.
Wisp,
Yes, we
you're
are
up.
pushing that thing off so hard.
I mean, if you want to, we can try.
Yes. I want to do it.
Over the ship. Oh.
So, yep, Wisp, you've got the lead on the initiative, so you're up first. and I need to math.
Push it, push it, push it, push
I'm not
it.
going near it. I kind of thought it was like getting everyone to surround it and like attack it, but I suggest
No.
that.
We should push it. We shouldn't surround it. If we surround it, we can't push it.
What do you suggest we push that thing?
Because we are strong enough. I want to try it. If we can't jump off, then we should push it.
By brute force?
Yes.
I'm gonna look
That's
to
the only
Silas
way.
and Alara for backup or suggestion.
Alara's just going to glance at you and just shrug and then nod.
Alora doesn't have any better idea.
She is just
Silas?
terrified.
Silas? Edric?
I'm not sure if we have this to discuss it in real time.
You're able to sort of shout this quickly across as it's
Yeah.
trying to sort of work out where each of you are on deck and throwing splinters of the hatch out of its many faces.
Yeah.
Then, can I try and signal, lure this thing to the side, and try and signal to the others, like, I'm going to jump out of the way, like, at the last second so they can push it over when it tries to stop? If that makes sense?
Yep, I'll get you to do a communication on that. So just roll a communication to see how well the others understand that.
Oh, so using yourself as bait.
So unless you're straight up shouting that, if you're trying to hand signal it,
I don't think it can understand, so...
Okay, so you're just gonna shout it? No need for a roll there.
Okay.
So you're gonna move off towards the side of the ship. Are you gonna take any actions or attack it?
No. Not at the moment, no.
Not a problem.
Like, get its attention to try and charge at me, if that makes sense.
Okay, yep, so you can try and taunt it.
Alright.
Based on that, if you want to try and taunt it and keep its focus on you, I will get you to do a communication.
Kitchen cut. Again.
You're a little confused about how to exactly taunt a undead monstrosity. But you start shouting in its general direction, and after a couple of microseconds, several of the heads spin in your direction and focus on you, and it starts to turn. So I think we just lost Silas for a second.
Oh, that's why he wasn't done.
Yep. So that is actually your turn, Silas. So are you taking any actions or attacking? I'll let him think for that on a few seconds. And I will ready Alara's actions because Alara comes directly after.
To be honest, it's probably best that the last.
Right, so Whisp has moved over to the side of the ship and is taunting and baiting it, trying to keep its attention on her. As far as you can tell, it seems to be working. Let me just double check. I like to not take away from that, so just use my help. Yep, gotcha.
So he will just help push.
Yep. So Silas is getting ready to help Mug, which brings up Alara. So Alara is... You know what? Straight up gonna do that.
Sorry, I was communicating with my cat. She was like saying back the exact same thing I said to her.
Alrighty, so Alara is actually going to rush over to you, Wisp,
Right.
and then she's going to raise her hand, and she's going to cast a bolt from her hand directly at the creature.
Ooh.
Hopefully we'll get a shift on now.
You see her raise her hands, and energy gathers and wraps around her fingertips. She is, however, very pale in the face, and you can see she is shaking as she tries to gather this energy.
Oh wow, that's magic!
She hurls it at the creature, misses it, and nearly hits Edric in the face. It is just by a whisper that the energy goes sailing off into the distance.
Wow, that was so cool, but I don't think it did.
Are okay, or is she like?
She
shaky, or...
she looks really shaken.
Oh god. Okay. Gonna ask her, Lara, are you okay?
She doesn't answer immediately and is just now looking at her hands going, we need to get off. Otherwise, we need to get off the ship.
Yep, that's the plan.
Well, first we are going to push this off, and then we get off.
And with that, as you're explaining to Alara the plan, the zombie creature comes barreling across towards Wisp and Alara.
Right.
And
Oh.
takes a swing at you, Wisp, and misses by a country mile. It knocks timbers out of the side of the ship.
This is the part where Mug's supposed to push, and Edric if he's there.
It then tries to backhand Alara. She pulls herself together just enough to duck underneath the strike.
Hello, guys. The plan?
Well, no, let's see if we can push it off.
And the third attack smashes into the timbers just in front of you.
Wait. It attacks 3 times.
Oh yeah, this is why we are pushing it off.
Hey, pushing it off killed someone before in this campaign. It's a valid tactic.
Mug,
Yeah. Mug was clever for once.
Mug, you've watched
Okay.
it. You've been biding your time. And you feel right at this moment your time has come.
Yeah.
Once
I think
again,
Mug has been concentrating on remembering the plan.
you hear that soft voice just on the tip of your ears again going, now.
So Mug pushes.
Can I use that help action to help push Mug? Help Mug push the monster.
So, Mug, you're going to charge. So,
Yeah.
you thunder across the deck. Add +1 to your attack. And I'm going to get
So
you.
it's a might check?
Yep. So.
Okay, so I can add might as
Yep.
and strength.
My help action gives another +2 to that roll, right?
Yep.
So that's 3d6 plus might plus 1 plus 2.
Yep. You don't really have to aim this attack. There is a lot of mass to hit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a twisted dog pile of 8 people.
So might is 2. Edric is adding 2 as well.
Yep.
And I add strength to it.
Yep, and +1 for
That's-
charging in and throwing your weight into it.
Oh, so that's +1 just for the charge.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my god, I need to count it up now.
If you type it out, I can help count it.
Okay, I've typed it out.
10,
So the first, 10,
14, 18, 19.
19.
Noted.
Oh, does that make it? Does that make it? Right, maybe push up half of it.
Ready, so that was 19, right?
Yeah. It'll be scary if you don't push up the whole.
2 of the limbs try to cling onto the deck.
Oh.
Seeing that as you charge it, the head's spinning to focus on you. But you duck your head, throw all your muscle mass into it, and cannonball right into the center of them, shoving with all your might.
Yes. Cannonball.
And right when you feel it resisting its hardest, you then shove upwards with your fists, pushing it up, and then over.
Yeah, let's lose your balance. Push it, push it, push it.
It loses its grip and goes flying backwards, stumbling and flailing and trying to grab onto anything nearby. Whisp, I'll get you to do a dex.
Oh. It's good that her dex is good.
Initiative or just dex?
Just a dex. If you got acrobatics or athletics, feel free to add that.
14 again. Okay, that's the 414 I've had.
It's good enough. By a
That's not
whisper,
bad.
which is quite ironic, a snatching, clawing limb barely misses you as this creature goes tumbling off the side of the ship.
Dose!
Phew. Yes, we pushed it off. Now
Alive!
we are safe.
Nice.
Now I want to find this magic door that keeps whispering.
Spring door.
Mug, I think we should go find you a doctor.
I'm perfectly fine. I was scratched by this.
Lara, are you okay?
She's just staring at the damage at the side of the ship, and she is still very, very pale. And then looks across at you and goes, That was some of the most twisted and powerful magic I have ever felt.
Normally
I
do
can't
stuff like
say-
that?
I can't say I usually see things like that.
And she's going to look around at the rest of the ship and goes, I don't think it's done with us yet.
Oh!
What? There's more of it?
I'll get... Mug, you hear that voice again,
Oh,
and it says, "Now's your chance. The map room. The answers are here.
What room?
The map room."
Just out of character.
yeah. Okay. Mug is looking around. The door is whispering to me again.
Huh.
Guys, what is a map room?
That's a room where the maps are held.
Okay. Is there something special there?
Well, the maps.
Maps.
The magic door told me that there's something special there. Do you think the maps are special?
I certainly think you are special.
Should we have a look?
Wonder if she's possessed by a ghost.
Look. This magic door was telling me to push the creature off as well, and it worked. So I think there must be something in this room.
Well, we can go there, but if it attempts to attack us, you're the first one to be sacrificed. You know that, right?
I
The
like
door?
to fight. I will fight it.
Or?
Well, I don't know if it's the door, but just anything. If it's
Okay.
not done with us yet, as Alara said, then maybe it's not a good idea to go there.
What about the glowy
Well-
thing?
I mean, what else are we going to do? It's not like we can just get off here.
Yeah, we kind of need to steer this thing.
Is the Cirrus catching up to us at all?
The Cirrus is keeping pace, but every time they try to close the distance, the ship lurches into a different direction.
Yeah, maybe it's controlled from the map room. Let's have a look in.
From
room.
what you can tell, the Cirrus is faster, but this ship is either threatening to run into it or turning away. It is proving quite difficult for Bhajiri to steer the ship closer.
I think that this is like us doing this to annoy him. Bit of a reputation, you know.
I
He
feel
must be
like the-
getting annoyed.
I feel like the captain might like us after all this.
Would
Either
they
that-
have saw that we over the side?
They're close enough that you feel that if someone was paying attention, they might have noticed something go over the side.
So the Cirrus is like near, right?
It's near. It's a couple of 100 meters away. So you can still see the crew on the side of the ship. There's quite a few of them along the side, watching you.
Ooh, this high up in the air, sound carries far. Silas is going to yell at the top of his lungs.
Go for it.
Oh no.
Shout a communication.
This ship is trying to kill us. That's 6, 6, and 4.
Noted.
But I fear this might just be communication, no etiquette.
Yeah, just straight communication.
And I'm going to assume no disguise either.
Not unless you want to disguise it so that you sound like something that you're not.
No, I'd just yell all out as Silas as well, going, this ship is trying to kill us. Maybe try to keep up with us so that we can, get to safety once we're ready to make a jump.
I'm
Something-
back.
After a couple of seconds, a very faint voice can be heard from the Cirrus, and it just makes it through over the wind. We'll try to keep up.
Okay, we will look at this map room that the magic door told us to. Sounds like Mug.
With that, I think, Edric is gonna just start moving through the ship again.
Alara sticks really close to your side.
Yeah, of course.
Aw.
You know what? I'd probably offer her the heavy leather jacket that counts as leather armor.
Oh.
She'll take it, but she still see. It's almost like she doesn't notice you really putting it on. She is very wide-eyed, and she's looking at each doorway as if there's a monster about to jump out of it.
Don't be so scared. We are just going to look at maps. They are just papers with pictures. It's not scary.
There might also be words, so maybe you'd find it scary.
Yeah, actually, not words. I can't handle words. Those are fine.
And with that, Silas is actually going to put back the pistol. And he's going to say, well, time to bring out the big guns. And he just pulls out his daddy.
Map.
What?
Map for words.
You make your way.
How do we find map a ship?
You make your way back below decks, and there's only 2 doors that you haven't even opened yet.
Can I
Both of
take a
them.
little- Oh, yeah.
Both of them are at the other end of the corridor, just beyond the engine room.
Can I just signal for them to wait a little bit as I peek into the engine room?
You glance into the engine room again, and the engine is still going and whirring away. Now that it's not covered, you've got a much better look at it, and you can see that the furnace that powers the steam that runs through this ship and keeps it going is burning with a very unnatural light.
Guys,
We have to
This is-
find the magic door.
this is not what fire looks like now.
That glowy thing from earlier.
Yes, it's the furnace that keeps the engine going, but is it supposed to be green?
I don't know.
I'm just improvising on the green.
That's
If it's a
fine.
different, go ahead.
It is a unearthly green fire.
Just score.
Maybe if there's some type of like weird metal in it.
Can I take a closer look at the fire or the furnace?
You slowly approach through the shattered remains of the door and across the room. And when you feel safe to do so, you glance through into the furnace and stare into the fire. The fire stares back.
I think Mug is getting impatient, so he just goes up to the remaining doors and starts asking the doors if they are the magic door.
The final door that you haven't approached swings open as you approach it, Mug. And
Oh,
you
okay.
see a room with lots of papers in it.
This must be the map.
Silas, you see a skeleton trying to crawl its way out of the furnace at you.
Can I swing at it?
You can roll an attack.
I'd like to specifically swing at it with the backside of my rifle,
Noted.
so that it's not actually a bullet.
Yep.
Am I lucky that it's all brass and copper?
Wisp, have you gone with Mug, or are you looking through into the
Wisp.
engine room?
Yeah, but I'm like at the doorway watching, like from afar.
Do I get stunt points on this attack?
Yes, you do.
Nice. Let me quickly pull up the
And
map
that
for
is a-
stunt points.
Definite hit, by the way.
Where's Alara? Is she with Mug or is she with Edric?
Glenn-
She stopped at the doorway, so she'll be roughly where you are.
Glenn,
Yep.
that 18 is not my attack.
What was that? The damage?
That was the one before.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
The attack is, however, 12 plus 2 is 14 plus is 19, but with 4 stun points.
Definitely hit.
Okay, in that case, I'd like to.
Don't forget
add-
your pinpoint, by the way.
Ooh. Thank you. So that's pinpoint for an additional d6, I believe.
Yep.
Then I'd like to also add Mighty Blow
Yep.
twice.
Go for it.
Are you laughing?
Yes, the lowest number I rolled is a 5,
Oh.
and I rolled 5 dice. This is a lot of
Oh.
damage. Let me quickly
Nice.
math this. 6 plus 6.
Are you going to blow up the ship?
I possibly.
Right.
3.
You should have seen this coming.
Oh wait, this is strength. Glenn,
Yep.
seeing as it's a fire inside a furnace,
Mm-hmm.
this might be a stretch, but could I add smithing?
No.
Okay, that's 18, 20, yeah, 30 damage in total.
Noted. You
I'd-
wait just long enough for this burning skeleton to get partially out of the furnace before you do a massive swing and catch it clean on the face and send the skull flying across the room where it detonates on the wall right next to Wisp.
Hey!
Hi. I did
Hey,
not know
not
it was
hi.
gonna explode.
What are you doing over there?
I'm murdering this skeleton.
Skeleton.
Yes, did you not see the skull?
While
I
you're
saw some
discussing
explosion.
this, the body continues to climb out and stands up behind you, and
I'll-
Alara blasts it into 1,000 shards. Her hand is incredibly shaky.
Glenn,
Yep.
is this the moment where I can still move?
I missed that.
Can I still move?
You can move.
I'd like to run away from the fire.
Noted.
Because, hear me out in this. So, my chest is covered in little bags of gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And normally I have a leather coat to protect me from fire. At least a little bit. But I
Noted.
handed off the coat. Specifically.
Noted.
I just realized the enemy was on fire. So now that Alara has shot it to bits, I'd like to run back, thank her, and then just go, maybe we should close this door. Oh wait, there's no door to close. Let's go to that map room that Mug was going crazy about, because, well, apparently Mug can talk to ghost demon ship parts, and, well, that seems useful in this situation.
Do you want some water, Alara? You're looking a bit peaky.
She gives you a very, very faint smile and goes, I think I'll be fine once we're off this heaven's cursed ship.
Yeah. Well, let's go see what Mug's up to.
You step back out and see that Mug has stepped into the other room the door wide open now. You see the room is decorated in maps and pictures. There's a massive table in the center of the room. You can't quite see past Mug to what's on the table. And is Mug still
Anything
there?
interesting, Mug?
What has been looking at the papers, looking at for pictures.
So, Mug, I'll get you to do a perception check while you're in there.
So nothing has tried to fight me yet. So nothing really interesting, I think.
Shall we switch rooms? That one tried to fight me.
Oh, okay, that sounds better. But the door was telling me that this room is import, so I don't.
Yeah, but we can read the papers.
Oh, you can read. It's amazing.
So,
You
to
guys
the
are
rest,
so clever.
are the rest of you entering?
I am specifically entering as fast as I can.
I'm gonna be kind of like at the doorway, keeping an eye on the furnace kind of doorway, if
Yep.
that makes sense. So I'm like in and out.
So, Wisp, I'll get you to do a perception as well. Actually, you know what? Silas, you get one as well.
Whoa, I get to do a thing.
Perception seeing on you, Silas. Mug, you find lots of maps and pictures. Nothing that's specific. There's a couple of pieces of paper with words on them.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing in here. The door was long.
Wisp, you look towards the furnace and don't see anything really moving or of interest in there, and you glance over your shoulder just to see what the others are doing, and you see a blue glow in a corner of the room behind Mug.
Oh.
As you focus on it, you realize the blue glow has features, and it is in the shape of a little elf girl.
Wow.
Guys!
Is it
Guys!
for you? Yes?
What?
Look!
What is it? Did you find the magic door?
Oh, but a ghost!
The second you shout that, Wisp, Alara just faints.
What's up with all of you getting scared of nothing?
Lara? Can I okay? Lara?
Can I point my rifle at the little girl? Jesus, my language fucked up there.
She sort of smiles at you sadly and then points at the wall behind where the door is.
Yeah. Can I look at that wall, like specifically the spot that she points at?
On the wall is a giant symbol painted in a very viscous red liquid
Blood.
in runes and shapes, and you recognize this, yes, as blood. So I'll get you to do a constitution.
Is that constitution or willpower?
Actually, sorry, it is willpower. Constitution is only when you fail.
So is there spot left next to Alara?
Did you just triple one?
Yes. I rolled a 2 with 3d6s. That's how talented I am.
So, Wisp, you see Alara hit the deck when you point out the ghost, just fainting. You see Silas spin around, levering his rifle, and then glance at the wall behind the doorway. And then he just collapses right down beside her. Mug is oblivious.
Yeah, I think Mug is trying to look at why people are collapsing. So does Mug spot a little girl?
It takes you a little bit, but considering that Wisp is pointing, you then see the little girl who then sort of. She looks like she's walking across, but she's sort of walking about half a foot above the ground.
Oh, I've never seen a blue person. Are you a magician? So here floating.
She sort of smiles at you and goes, I am.
Oh, that's so cool. Can you help us get off this ship?
I think so.
Wow, you are amazing. Do you know anything about magic doors? Magic doors have been with.
Ugh. There are no magic doors.
She's right, you know.
Huh? Who is right?
I'm guessing you're the one who's been talking to my compadre here. Would I be correct?
She looks at you, Wisp, and goes, yes, this one could hear me.
Oh, you were the one talking to me. Yes, I guess a great magician would be able to talk. Does that mean I'm the chosen one?
Nothing to do what?
To
The little
to win.
the little ghost girl looks at you, Wisp, and goes, to free us.
Yes?
To free
What do you
us.
mean?
Oh yes. Oh, you're a slave as well.
Boy.
She looks at you, Mug, and goes, yes, in a sense.
I used to be a slave, but then my master died. Did you want me to kill your master?
Yes. If you kill our master, we will be free.
Is that
Okay.
the thing that we threw off the ship?
But you're not awake.
Oh yeah.
So Wisp is actually pouring water over both Edric and Alaris, so I'll get you to roll a constitution, Edric.
That might be better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Wisp, Alara does come round once you pour the water, and so does Silas.
Hey, rise and shine!
Good morning. Where are we?
From hell.
So if I look around,
Yep.
would the blood on the wall pique my interest again? Or am I now alerted to the fact that there's blood on the wall, and would I carefully look away?
You start to look around, and the first thing you see is Wisp and Mug near you. And before you start to look at anything further back, you now realize that there is a blue floating girl standing next to Mug.
Oh, hi. What is going on here?
Oh, she's a crazy magician and she's going to help us. We just need to kill her master.
Is that the thing we threw off the ship?
She shakes her head and goes, no, that was my family.
Oh, sorry. Is it then the thing whose head we just
No, that was my mother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna offer any other solutions because it seems I've just assaulted your whole family. I'm sorry.
She just shakes her head. They were like I was, used to create this monstrosity. And the only way to destroy it is to destroy the heart.
Is that the evil furnace?
No.
Oh.
It's me. And she points back at the wall where you originally
Oh.
looked.
I'm gonna look again, then realize that the paintings are similar to the paintings I saw before, or something, you know. And then I'm gonna go. Could someone else look? Because I think I have something important to look at here.
Mug looks at point.
You see the same symbols that Silas saw before he fainted, and you've seen the kind of liquid and the shapes it makes before. You know this has been painted in blood. More to the point, you know in the very center of this giant arcane symbol is the body of a small child. In fact, it's the body of the one standing right next to you.
Oh, is this your twin? I've heard about twins who you look identical. So your master is your own sibling.
In a sense.
Oh.
So none of your family is that nice, is it?
They
She's
were
just done with
once.
explaining, Mug.
she
Right.
looks across at you, Wisp, and goes, "They used me to create the spell, and you must do the same to destroy it."
Sacrifice someone?
No, just destroy what is powering it.
You want us to destroy your body?
It should be enough.
What
And so do
happens
we
when we
set it on
destroy
fire?
you? Will the ship?
It will revert to what it was.
What was it before?
She points behind you back towards where the furnace room was. It's already starting to fix itself.
Oh.
Behind you, the door to the furnace room is actually rebuilding itself slowly. Splinters sliding up.
Oh. This really is a ghost ship.
So how do you want to destroy your evil twin?
Fire.
Not our twin.
This is still a ship. It's still tinder and wood. The gases in the airbags above us will burn like any other ship.
But will we not burn?
Your friends seem near. They should be able to make it close.
What happened to you? How did this happen? Why?
She looks across at you and says, "They were looking."
I was looking. For what?
Monsters came in the night and they were looking for a key. None of them breathed. None of them had a heartbeat.
Zombies. The living dead.
They were on the ship and they were killing everyone before we even knew what was going on. I ran in here to hide and they did that. And when
Do you know what this key was for at all? Just that it was a key.
The only thing I know is that before they killed each person, they asked if they had seen the key. And then she points at Alara and says, "That one."
Huh?
Oh. What did the monsters look like? Were they Shayak?
No. They looked like they were human once. Some of them looked like they were other than human. but none of them looked like they'd been alive in a very long time. There was only one that looked alive, but they weren't. I used to think vampires were just stories. Until I watched him kill my dad.
I'm
Wait.
hurt. Hey. You should definitely burn the ship when we're done.
Burn it and free us.
You get to move on then?
I hope so.
Right, so if we start a fight, we can put your evil twin in the furnace. That will...
She smiles at you, Mug, and goes, "The furnace will do the job. It will start the blaze."
That's easy.
I just can't get there myself. And
It's fine, I will carry you.
As if to emphasize, she walks over towards her body and walks through some of the furniture in the room.
If you can walk through it, wouldn't that make it easier to reach it?
Yeah, so Mug by now is not paying attention to her, picking up the and bringing it to the furnace.
She follows Mug as that happens.
And Mug is like, so once we burn your evil twin, are you going to come with us?
I will follow for a time.
I think that will be nice. We already have a kid around your age. Ship. You will have fun with them.
She just gives she gives Mug a really sad smile.
Then that's not Mug who is necessary. But this kid was helping. And it's also like, in Mug's eyes, powerful sorcerer. Mug is like, he better.
Alara has returned to the table as well and is gathering up some of the papers and maps.
Yeah. So basically, Mug is just doing the body.
So,
yeah, it's a good thing I know what an evil twin is. I've heard these stories about them. Terrible head.
She just smiles and nods at you now. The door to the furnace tries to slam shut in your face as if on its own whim, and you see her raise her hand and the door fights against her, but she holds it open.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mug would have probably the strength to hold the door open. The door ain't shut.
Yeah, the door is still a door. It isn't much of a hassle for you to make your way through. The furnace is burning and blazing and spitting as if it is trying in its own way to fight what is happening.
Mug is just ignoring it. It's kind of lengthy to understand sort of magic. Like, right. So let's put this body into the furnace.
You pull open the furnace door and have to yank really hard, even though it looks like it's been well maintained. It screeches and whines as if it is rusty and ancient, fighting every millimeter as you try to open it. You force it open and then carefully throw the body in there, and as soon as you do, it bursts into flame as if it's covered in oil. And then...
There we go. Evil twin is taken care of.
How many of you are still in the map room?
I am.
Wisp, did you follow Mug out, or are you still in the map room? In the meantime, for those that are in the map room, the whole wall that the symbols are on bursts into flames. There is no blood left there. It is just fire. The symbols burning away in what starts off as the same green flame as the furnace that slowly starts to turn a orange, then yellow, and then back into natural colors. The whole ship shudders and shakes, and you feel in your very bones an unearthly screech. Behind Mug, the door shatters itself again and collapses. There is parts of the map room itself that starts to fall to pieces again. The ship itself starts to show signs of damage, not so much from lots of combat, but you can tell that the door behind you to the map room had been kicked in. The rest of the damage appears to be a bit more recent, as if it's caused by the creature as it made its way up the hallway, chasing you guys back up on deck. Even as you watch the flames start to spread up onto the roof.
Huh. This was a bit weird. It must have been a magical thing.
There is absolute silence in the furnace room, as Mug, you're the only one in there.
Mug is looking around for the little sorceress.
Alara comes racing past, arms full of papers, glances in at you, Mug, and says, "We gotta go before this thing burns down."
But where is the little girl? The little sorceress? What happened to her? We killed her evil twin, so she should be free now.
Death Mug at some point.
Alara just smiles at you, Mug, and goes, "You did free her," and then runs. You can hear...
Why do you keep on running everywhere?
As you go to the door to shout after her, you glance, and it's not actually the smell that tips you off first, but you can smell that the map room's on fire.
Oh. Did you set everything on fire, Alara?
Looking into the map room, quite a lot of it's on fire.
Oh.
The fire is starting to
Hey.
spread across the roof, it's wrapping around the walls.
Assuming at this point, me and like Edric have left the map room.
I'm sort of assuming that map room at this point.
Edric, you were watching the fire spread in kind of a cool. Never seen that happen before you kind of realized, hang on, I'm covered in gunpowder and there's lots of fire, and decided you had better places to go.
Yep,
So,
that seems legit.
when Alara bolted, you went to...
Last one on deck has to buy everyone a drink. Go!
leg it back up onto deck.
Who buys me a drink?
Whoever comes last in this race on deck.
Damn it, I'm the fastest then.
So, since the drink was on offer, anyone that has a focus that involves drinking,
Yes.
roll a d6
Yes.
and half it and add that to your speed.
Wait, what?
Roll a d6.
Roll a
Ooh.
d6, half it, and then add that to your speed.
Ooh.
I've added it. That means I'm now at 14.
Yeah, I don't think my speed is.
Wisp, what was your speed?
16.
16? Wisp, you bolt off at your normal speed, and you fully expect to leave everyone in your dust. However, at the mention of alcohol, it seems like Silas is extremely motivated to keep up.
So even Mug. So his normal speed is 9.
Mug is actually
Right.
keeping pace with, I believe, Alara.
Which is not normal.
Glancing over your shoulder, Wisp, you even see Mug head down, breathing deeply, and just power running. He's like a bull that's got a red flag in front of him. You all thunder up onto the deck. The flames erupt out of the map room behind you and start racing through the ship. You burst up onto deck in time to see the Cirrus pulling up alongside. It seems like they've managed to maneuver themselves into position, and you can even see, as you make it up onto the suddenly warm and smoky timbers of the deck itself, that they're throwing lines across and trying to pull themselves perfectly up alongside to allow you to reboard.
That's neat.
Thank you.
So who won? And who was last?
So, in order of appearance, Wisp was still first.
Yeah.
In equal second was Alara and Silas. Well, actually, no, sorry.
No!
Silas was just ahead of Alara by a whisper, even though she had the head start. Mug, you gave your best effort,
No.
and you were still last up on deck.
No.
If it wasn't for the fact
Mug is
that
shouting. No.
as if to emphasize your displeasure at this, flames rush up the ropes and the mast up to the balloon, and the canvas that holds the balloon, all the gases in the balloon, is slowly starting to get licked by the flames.
Really are the chosen one, Mug.
Alara looks at the balloon and says, "I think that's our cue to get off."
Mug is certainly trying. At least jump first or something.
With a small thump, the two ships come together, and Alara is just going to leap across into the arms of the nearest person who will haul her onto the ship.
Mug is just jumping out of the gate. Yeah.
Sorry, Mug is just going to...
So Mug is jumping without looking. He doesn't care if he falls on someone.
Noted. Mug, you run up and leap onto the Cirrus, not looking at where you're going, you hear a shout and then feel a rush of wind and the feel of cloth against your face as Flaily sidesteps at the nick of time to avoid being pummeled into the deck.
That was close.
Is there
See,
anyone
I'm
left
not
that I can
last.
aim at?
Sorry?
Who could I have aimed at?
Are you going to look at where you're jumping, or are you specifically aiming at someone?
Specifically aiming at someone.
There's quite a few crew along the side of the ship. You see both twins, you see both Tarin and the old fella are both working together to try and pull the ropes to keep them the ship steady. There's various others. You still see that Flaily, so young James, is standing. He's now not looking in your direction. He's staring at Mug, as if to say, "Watch where you jump."
Yeah.
It was an emergency. I could have been last, but now I'm not last.
Wisp, you just gracefully step on over, not bothering to jump.
Technically, we
Sounds about
probably
right, to be
need
fair.
to jump.
Edric, are you gonna jump
I'm
for
gonna
fun?
Just jump because I can.
I'll get you to do a dexterity to do a superhero landing if you want.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
And as you do that, with the last of you making your way onto the ship, the crew cast off the lines and shove away, and the ship begins to peel away from the rapidly burning little ship.
Do we know what was the name of the ship?
Wait, what did I roll? Was that just dexterity?
Yep, dexterity. Acrobatics if you have it.
Luckily, I did very well on that.
But I have a note here, your customer service complaint.
Hmm?
I have a note in here that says Mug is customer service complaint manager.
Oh yes.
What?
Because whenever a
One?
customer has a problem, Mug just bashes it until it stops being a problem.
Ah. Yeah, that is true. Oh, the acrobatic. Ooh.
That
Yeah.
one, highly efficient.
Yeah.
Rightio. Silas, as you start to make your way to jump onto the ship, you realize this is the perfect opportunity to show off how graceful you are in front of Alara. So you
Oh,
go to
boy.
jump up over the railing of the ship that you're on to then try to somersault onto the Cirrus. You catch your toe as you try to do so and wind up doing a perfect somersault and landing on your back.
Nice.
How?
The Cirrus pulls away, and Mug, at your question about what the name of the ship was, one of the sailors turns around and says, "I only caught a glimpse of it, but it looked like it had been called the Errant Dawn."
The errand.
As you watch, the ship drifts away from yours, and
Wait, is the magician girl not coming with us? She said she would. We have this other kid on deck as well.
Mug, as you look at the deck, you see a faint blue shape that seems to be waving at you. And then the entire ship detonates as the giant gas balloon bag explodes. And it starts to plummet out of the sky.
The blue shape is on our ship.
Nope.
Or on
It was on the burning one.
Oh shit. Oh well. Mug is sad. Mug was expecting the little girl, magician little girl, to be on this ship.
Didn't even ask her name.
That's not what matters.
Hey, her name was Lil Girl.
Little
Blue
girl.
little girl.
Or to you, girl.
Sorcerer.
Girl. From now on,
Sorcerer.
we'll call her Carl.
Mug, as the ship plummets down towards the deserts below, you hear a very, very faint and very, very familiar thank you.
Oh, she's somewhere here, and Mug is looking.
That's kind of sweet for someone so dumb.
Just taking a note to do this more often because it's amazing.
Wait, to do this more often, is that more demon ships or?
I think magic that Mug doesn't understand. Mug understands fist, fighting, and killing.
Mug costs punch.
That's about it.
Rightio. So the Cirrus drifts away from the remnants of what was the errant dawn, and things return somewhat to normal. Those that were on the ship get questioned by those that didn't go across. But the general gist of the story starts to spread around, and in hushed tones they talk to each other about the ghost ship.
I think Mug gives a very confused story. He's talking about things that the others don't mention. Sorcerer girl and magic doors that fall.
The stories just inflate what the rest of the crew believe. They think that someone had managed, like some strange sorcerer girl had managed to summon a portal for demons on the ship. And that the monster that they saw come flying off had been summoned and sent against you by an evil witch.
The evil twin of the little girl.
And it's made worse by the fact that the others tried to correct you along the way, and it just makes the story even more convoluted and confusing.
Character for a second. This key, is it a Lara or is it a key she actually has?
It's the item that she had in the silver box. It's the only thing that you've heard referenced as a key by both her and other people.
Yeah, so it's that thing that was with Mug's slaver, right? That Mug actually found.
Yep.
In his bag. So this key was randomly found by Mug in his bag.
A bunch of vampires were looking for it on a ghost ship. Ship.
I think he just accidentally picked up the bag or something.
Yeah, Mug just picked it up.
No, I mean like these vampire folks were looking for this key on the ship.
Yeah. Well, they knew it was on some ship. They didn't know which. Dun dun dun.
So now we have to be wary of vampires, and no one believes us.
Can't wait to hear this explained to the captain.
I don't think Mug got far enough. They were looking for that thing he found in the box.
So things on the ship settle down a bit as everything returns to normal. Bhajiri seems quite happy that all the crew made it back on board, and that you managed to get a little bit of loot out of it as well.
Did we?
That's the one thing that Silas will be very excited about, to install the new cannons.
There are two small cannons that are in reasonable shape. The twins seem to have wasted no time in getting them and quite a lot of other items across onto the Cirrus while you were busy downstairs. And it seems like they managed to loot some other items as well. You see some very fine plates and vases. You see that they made it across with a small chest that appeared to have coins in it. And
Oh, wait, that's why there were no cannons.
Yep, because I ordered them to be taken off the ship and I totally forgot about that.
Okay.
in short order, things have returned to normal, and the loot has been taken below decks, and Merrisea has begun inventorying it.
Were there any other pistols and such for me to add to the thingy that we've taken?
Not that you've noticed.
Is there anything useful in like the maps and stuff Lara brought with her?
So Alara's taken all the papers and she's spread them all out over a table in the mess hall, and including the diary that she took that first indicated that this was a diplomat ship. Using it and looking at the maps, she plots a path and then points to Fort New Hearth in the southwest.
You have.
Yep, so Fort New Hearth.
It's not like Mug can remember.
And says, it looks like they passed through here on the way up to Ginnereth, and then they were returning to a new assignment. They were supposed to go here, and she points at the map at a different location, much closer to Port Marley and roughly on the path from where you would have gone if you had sailed from Port Marley. And the location is to the east in a place called Port Lilith.
Hey, we've heard that name before.
It is
Haven't
on your
we?
map. Yep. She
It's in the
smiles.
diary.
Yep. She points at it and says, it seems like they were recalled from one of the southern kingdoms and then sent here. It doesn't say why. It doesn't appear that this is actually the diplomat's journal. Perhaps his wife or the poor child. But why would they attack that ship?
Oh, maybe they were off.
She
heard what a good fighter I am.
she just shakes her head a little bit and goes, They were looking for the key, but there was...
What was
She pulls a chain out that's around her neck and shows you the item that was back in the box when you first opened it.
Oh, that was the thing in the box. Is it a key?
It keeps being referred to as one. How it would open anything is beyond me right now, but it seems that there is more than one nation looking for it.
Wait, there are nations looking for that little thing.
Yes, there are many in Bacard that have been looking for it. It seems even the Skyak Skull are willing to fight and declare war over it. And then, if the stories I've heard of the South are true, then it seems like even the kingdom of Vudria is roused and looking.
Oh, so that blue trinket is going to get us more fight.
Mug, the name Vudria is familiar to you. You don't know an awful lot about them apart from the fact that whenever you fought a creature or a slave brought from Vudria, that they were extremely tough creatures that had to usually be ripped limb from limb.
Ooh, Mug is getting excited.
The rest of you only know rumors and horror stories, kind of the scary undead monsters of your worst nightmares, somehow in a kingdom in the south.
Mm.
Not the vampires they're referring to.
Alara looks at you, Wisp, and says, potentially they could be there from there. I've travelled a little bit in the south, but even there, it's hard to tell what's myth and what's real. But if what we saw on that ship was anything to go by, I fear there's very little myth.
As long as you have that key, you're always needing to be on your guard then.
I can only hope that the fact they attacked that ship means they don't know where it is.
Who else potentially knows you have it? Just us.
As far as I know, although the people that caught up to me in Freeport also believe that I had it, and to be all but honest, just before I was caught, I did. It is just by sheer chance that your comrade here managed to get their hands on it before Freeport fell. Otherwise, it would, for all we know, be in the hands of the Shayak.
Well, let's try and keep it on the down low. The last thing we need is like a million people trying to attack us at once.
No, that sounds great. That's
It
exactly
doesn't.
what.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know how much of it is.
We
Sounds
could
like
do
a
that,
lot.
but I'd need to draw up a design to get more pistols fired quicker, I guess.
Alara smiles at
You're clever. You do that.
Alara smiles at you, Silas, and then looks at you, Mug, and says, "It is probably for the best that only we know about this thing for now. But we do need to find out more about it. If even the southern kingdoms are willing to start wars just to get their hands on it, we need to know what it does."
Probably open some if it's a key.
Well, one normally does call an item that opens something else a key. It's just a matter of what it is.
So now all we have to do is find the lock, and then we're rich beyond measure, basically.
Either that, or it's perhaps something that should remain locked. But if the Southerners are the ones that are looking for it, perhaps there's information they know.
So what you're saying is we have all of the Southern Kingdoms in order to get as much information as possible. Got it.
Well, all I can say is keep our ears open. We're going to be coming across many from the southern kingdoms without having to travel anywhere near them. After all, both Port Lilith and Fort Hearth are places that were built by southerners.
That is true.
And I don't think the captain will be too averse in heading into one or the other. We do, after all, have a few things that we are looking to do while in the air. That's presuming we don't go and check in on our friends from the visit to Freeport, somewhere over near the Canyons of Ghoul, if we make it in time. Although the choice, I believe, is rather moot for myself. It would depend on what you and your comrades, I believe, feel more useful at this stage. You might be able to bend the captain's ear.
I don't know. I just want to fight. What was it like, Amara? Like, I don't care where we go as long as I get to fight.
Alara's gonna chuckle and say, well, the Shy Covrin, well, when they pass through the Canyons of Ghoul, I'd say they'd be much appreciative of joining you in a fight. And if that's
very good, Dan.
and if that's the case, I hope you win.
Of course we'll win. I'll just shoot it till it dies.
No, don't steal my kill.
I believe there were plenty to go around. There were quite a lot of slavers that were at Freeport.
Yeah, I used to be a slave as well.
Well, then you have every reason to want to get into fights with them, don't you?
Mug always has a reason to get into things. Remember the temple?
How
Doesn't need
could
a
I
reason.
forget?
I mean, I believe Mug at some point knocked out a barmaid, didn't she? Didn't he?
Shh, not so loud.
Wasn't the whole crew aware of that? Oops.
That wasn't on purpose.
Alara's just going to raise an eyebrow ever so slightly at you.
And me?
Yep.
Oi!
She wasn't there.
Yeah, but also I wasn't the one laying the smackdown.
Wasn't preventing it either.
I was very busy, I'll have you know.
Oh,
Doing what, Silas?
I can't
Doing
wait to
what?
hear this explanation.
I was very busy having alcohol.
And you just let him punch
I
a barmaid.
Well, I only noticed after he had punched her and the barman had already thrown a hand.
No, look, this was an accident. I was trying to have a proper bar fight, and then the barmaid just walked into it.
The barmaid walked into your fist.
That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
She's just looking at you now incredulously going, and how many times?
37. Not that I counted. I was busy doing other things.
I can't
I-
leave
I
any of
can't
you
really
unsupervised.
I can't really count, so I don't know how many. Everything happened fast.
Next you'll be telling me you set the damn bar on fire.
That was not us.
Yeah, that was the bar owner, but we knocked him out as well,
You
or not?
did what?
Hey, he threw explosives at us.
Weird.
I don't actually remember what happened, but it was definitely the owner who threw up the bar. Not us. We just started a bar fight.
Alara slowly turns to look at you, Wisp, and says, and you were suggesting that we lay low. Short
From
of
now on,
It was a regular Tuesday bar fight. It wasn't anything special until it exploded.
we'd have to tie them up when we get into port to lay low.
I am very good at laying low after I've, well, done stuff.
you should maybe invest in some disguises at some point, you know?
I have a disguise. I used to be Silas the Bastard, remember?
And the rest of us?
I'm not them.
That's not a half bad idea.
Oh, can't wait to return.
I feel like, Wisp, seeing as you're so good at explaining, maybe you captain as well.
Oh,
Well,
we already kind of sort of half explained that. I'm not going through that again. I am not sweeping the floor again.
What's sweeping the floor?
Punishment? Did you forget? Wait, did you actually do your punishment?
Oh, you actually sweep the floor.
I was very
Hold on.
busy doing my other job at the ship.
3
Ah,
days straight.
I was very busy doing my other job. But the deck is nice and clean, so thank you.
You can explain to the captain. You.
To be fair, I also already did explain to the captain and he that I should do that job, so it was his fault. All of it's the captain's fault.
Yeah, I don't think I was either. I was trained. Yeah. I mean, it's important that you train.
But we are very proud of you.
That's good then.
No, I mean of Wisp.
Hate you all.
But
I didn't want to leave the darkness of the little cafeteria.
Which little cafeteria?
Dining hall, whatever you call it.
Oh, so you've been sweeping there.
Oh, remember you pushed me out?
Pushed you out?
Uh-huh.
I
When the
would
captain
never
wanted to
do-
speak to us.
I
Yes,
would
you
never
did.
do such a thing.
For once, murder you at the time.
I don't remember this. I don't remember.
Let's just decide that it was all Mug's fault. Let's go on with it. Right, Mug?
What was my fault? I was just training.
Well, let's just say that hypothetically everything was your fault.
I don't know
You.
about that.
I mean, hypothetically means that it's not actually that way, and we don't believe it.
Oh, is this a game? Is this a game?
Yes. It's definitely a sort of game. But
Oh.
maybe it does involve telling the captain that you hypothetically... b-
Hypo. That hypoputa.
if the word is difficult, you can just tell the captain that you did it. He'll understand what you mean.
Okay, let's stick with that. That's easier.
Alara's looking from one person to the next, and then back with this slow look of what the hell is going on? Before just sitting back and going, you were the strangest group of friends I have ever seen in my life.
Friends.
Wait for a
Is
friend.
this what friends are?
Oh God. Why me?
Wait, I have friends now.
Hey.
Well, you knew
Oh
each
God,
other
that means I'm
before the
obligated to look
cirrus,
after
right?
you.
I heard about people having friends, but I never knew I would have friends. What do you do with friends?
Try not to get them killed for a start.
Oh, okay,
Oh, shit.
protect them.
Shit, that's an issue.
Are you saying you're not my friend?
I am your friend. I'm just not that good at keeping people safe.
Then
Or
you're
let's
not my
try.
friend.
Alara just gives you like a slight smirk, Silas, and goes, well, even if you don't protect them, you know how to rescue them.
Oh, that's a good argument. And then he's gonna go. I mean, I think, yeah, I think that works because, well, we did manage to rescue you, albeit after a little while.
Well, I'm glad you know not to keep a lady waiting.
True.
So you're not.
It is
keep your
dangerous to
friends-
keep you waiting. Yeah, you best not keep your friends waiting for too long.
Right. And a lady is a rich woman, is that right?
A lady is just someone who is rich.
Yes. So, Alara, you are very rich then.
Alara laughs and then just looks across at Silas and goes, I think that answer is somewhat debatable. A lady is just a woman with a great deal of manners.
What's a manner?
House.
I like that answer. So
What was the answer?
the answer that Wisp gave was house.
Oh, house.
House.
And not in the moving castle kind of way.
I don't think Mog is on. Or maybe I'm not on house.
Manor.
Sorry?
Manor is a house. Manners is something that Edric does not possess.
Wait, that I do not possess?
I'm sorry. See, when I asked you to be quiet the other day, what did you proceed to do?
I am very much school etiquette.
Mog is
Can you
not
come?
understanding what they're talking about. Like, there is a house there.
Alara's going to smirk at you, Silas, and go, yes, you are quite good with the etiquette, but when silence is required, and she taps one of your pistols and goes, you can be rather loud when you want to be.
I am the most sneakiest.
Oh, that's funny.
Wait, our manners.
I think I'm going to have to go with the elf on this one. Your sheer
What?
stealth, punctuated by loud bangs.
I am working on a new kind of pistol, though. One that doesn't make as much noise.
Now that I'd have to see.
Well, here's the design. And he'd just go off to talk for hours and hours about what he drew.
She listens for a bit and then slowly settles into that. I'm listening just to be nice look.
At that point, Edric is just like mostly talking to himself about how nice the design is and what good it will do in the hands of a skilled combatant. But of course, he's the only one capable of using it because all other people are morons.
Say that out loud.
Yeah.
Mug has left by that. Yeah.
I think I fell asleep at some point, to be honest. Let's be fair.
Yep. To be fair, I think the only one who could stay awake through all that is Edric.
You hear
Like,
snores from the back right-hand corner of the mess hall, and you realise that someone was having a quiet meal and they've been put to sleep.
Well, good for them. They deserve a good night's rest. Then again, they weren't fighting the demon thing. They're cowards.
We put
all of them.
ourselves in harm's way. Alara nearly died or something using her magic.
No, we were protecting her.
By having us as bait, so Mug could push the thing over the side. Well, you just stood there.
That was mostly you doing that work because that was way too dangerous for me. But yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
You didn't exactly stop Alara either.
No, because she's
And you
a
didn't check on
grown-
her when she was shaky either.
I tried, but you were quicker.
Uh-huh.
Mug has left to pray outside. And he's also telling the twins about the twin that he met. And he's like, you have to be careful that one of you don't become a twin, or we will have to burn you.
I don't think any of us are at risk of turning into one of those things. And thank you, Wisp. I know that I wasn't quite myself there, but that was one of the most terrifying fights I've been in my life.
I think it's only gonna get worse from here.
I fear you might be right with that, so I'll just
Oh.
have to do my best to try and keep myself calm when I'm trying to fight. I was so all over the place that I'm just lucky I didn't hurt any of you with that spell.
Well, you only hurt the person you intended to hurt, right?
You weren't there when the first one happened, were you?
Which one happened?
A character.
I-
She nearly hit you with lightning.
Oh, I was not there when that happened.
That was 2 1s and a 2. She
Oh.
I'm taking back all I said about like her not nearly murdering me.
She just gives you the shyest of smiles and goes, "My aim's usually a lot better than that in the normal circumstances."
That's reassuring.
So much. Oh, Mug is not there.
If we have learned anything, it's that you should trust the elf when she says go ship.
With the elf, do you mean the little girl?
Me!
Oh,
When I said it was a go ship.
Oh, you mean you?
You do not pay attention, do you? How do you put up with him my gosh!
It's kind of useful from time to time when he's off in his own world.
Mhm.
Oi!
She just smirks at you and goes, everyone needs their privacy from time to time.
Oi! That did not make it better. I gave you a chance to make it better and you somehow made it worse.
She just smirks at you and unbuttons a single button on her blouse and goes, does that make it better?
Huh.
Ooh.
Weirdly, yes.
She blows you a kiss from across the table. And then looks across at you, Whisp, and goes, see?
Huh?
Oi!
Is that you can tell at this point she's doing it on purpose just to keep winding you up.
When he realizes that there's another oi!
And
I'm so glad you're here, Lara.
I've known him since he was knee-high to the dwarf. This is too easy.
No one can keep him in check.
Now that, not even the gods can do.
True, but that's just because I'm stronger.
Not faster.
Hmm?
But not faster.
Oh no, definitely not.
Who lost that race again? Mug.
Yes.
Put that down. Somewhere.
Yeah, we need to write down that Mug owes us a drink.
yeah, Molly's trying out.
And because it's Mug, it's obviously now suddenly 20.
But he can't count that far.
Yeah, that's why, because we can then just keep
But he
going
can
at
count
it.
as far as the drink. He can't count as 20.
Wonder how that visit to the tavern will go.
We'll probably attempt not to blow it up and then fail horribly.
So what I'll do is I'll actually wind up this episode here, and then we will loop back with hopefully more of the crew in the next session. So I'll get yo-ho to the recording before I turn it off.
Yo ho!
Yo ho!
Yeah.